Oh, hello there. Welcome to what's this podcast called? First Time Dads, Diehard
Diehard
Fans,
fans. That's
FDDF for short. My name is Tim Bear, alongside my good friend, Nicholas Procy.
Prosy. How's it going, guys?
I can't really speak for the audience, but
No,
yeah, I'm doing good.
It was a hot weekend. Oh, scorcher up there.
Was it? Yeah, it was hot down here too, in the 80s.
Yeah, no,
You
like
don't
we
know
were,
about that.
I don't know the conversion, but I know
Yeah.
we were like 32, 33
Okay, yeah.
without
That
the
is,
Humidex.
yeah, that is
Without
spicy.
so I think we were in the hundreds. I think we hit hundreds this weekend.
Well, 100 would be like 40.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe 100 with the Humidex
Maybe.
because it was freaking hot.
Yeah, and you went golfing.
I did.
You're
I
golfing in
played
that heat.
2 rounds of 9 and hit the driving range and then sat by the
Good.
pool. Yep.
Right on. Where'd you
can't
go
be.
golfing?
Ashbrook. It's a little course in Port Hope, Ontario.
Ashbrook, classic.
And
yeah.
then another little Northumberland Valley, used to be called Larchmere. It's another
Larchmere.
little par 3-4 course on Baltimore, Ontario, not
Yes.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, Ontario's own. And how many times has that changed its name? Because I know it was Larchmere, and then it was Roxborough Glen.
Yeah,
Now it's Northumberland Valley.
Northumberland Valley.
Northumberland Valley.
Yeah, third time within 3 years. Oh, and there's a dog.
Hey, buddy. What's your dog's name?
Finley.
Finley, that's right.
Yeah.
Finley. So we are here. Once again, this is a podcast where we talk about fatherhood. My son was born last Thursday, so he's just over a week old. And Nick's son, he just learned last week he's having a boy. And he's going to be born in about 20 weeks or so, a little bit less than that.
Yeah, mid-October.
Mid-October.
Yeah, found out some fun information about him.
Yeah. So, so Nick, anything new to report on your end? How's your wife feeling?
But she's feeling pregnant. No, everything is status quo there. Last Wednesday, so it'll be last Tuesday, so a week this Tuesday we found out the gender. No, it'll be 2 weeks this Tuesday, actually, since we know the gender. No, a week. 1 week, yes. But we got the report back, and the baby is, so originally it was due October 29th, is now the 72nd percentile. Like he's 72% bigger than most babies his age that are classified.
Wow. Okay.
So he sounds like a big baby.
Big boy.
I feel sorry for Becca, but that's none their least. But yeah, a big boy so far. Big, healthy boy. Everything has come back healthy.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great news. And that's interesting. We actually never learned the size of our baby until
as you went?
Until he was born.
Oh, okay.
They just never told us, and we never asked.
No, and that's the thing. There's like this little app called Pocket Health, and like you want, because the reports go to the doctors and your medical team. They see it, and I think if everything is status quo, it's just status quo. Doctors have no need to call you and say this. But there's this app called Pocket Health, or a website called Pocket Health. You punch in all your information, and once you sign up with a thing, you can access the same information the doctor accesses.
Oh wow, okay.
So like we were able to read over the doctor's report or the radiologist's report and see what our family team saw, and it's cool. You get to see every picture that the ultrasound tech takes.
Wow.
So like we've got like hundreds of photos of the baby already.
So your medical team basically puts information into this app, and then you're able to read it?
That's
it's
like,
okay.
Yeah, so like you whatever the doctor's ordered for anything. It doesn't have to be baby related. If I broke my ankle, I can access all my medical records on this app.
Oh, wow.
So everything I've
That's
done at
cool.
a hospital, at a facility, I think you charge like $5, and then so like Beck's been able to track all the ultrasounds and tests she's done pregnancy wise. It's cool. It's cool to see all the pictures.
Yeah, what's that called again?
Pocket Health.
Pocket Health. Okay, cool. I'll throw that down in the comments.
Like it very well could be a
People
Canadian
can,
program. I don't know though, but
people can figure that out. Yeah, that's a good thing to know. Yeah, well, that's great news. How are things like at home? Have you had to do a lot more stuff? Have you had to pick up a lot more responsibilities with your wife being pregnant?
grocery shopping, but like
Yeah.
just because of the pandemic. But
Right.
no, nothing really other than trying to build our baby registry, to building our the crib to the change table, just getting the nursery ready instead of trying to do last minute style stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
For your,
how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, my wife she's not supposed to really move at all.
Sure.
Much at all. She kind of breaks those rules often. But
right.
So yeah, I've been and what's been really awesome is people from our church have provided meals for us pretty much every other day for
good.
dinner. So I mean, we having a lot of fried chicken and other stuff like that. So not the healthiest stuff.
Hey.
But we were kind of joking about that because we actually made dinner for ourselves, and it was just super simple, like a couple of chicken breasts and veggies, frozen veggies and some rice. But it just felt nice to eat like real food and not like
takeout.
Takeout stuff. Yeah. But no, we're definitely very appreciative of that because it's made life easier for us. Obviously my wife, because she's been feeding the baby every couple hours, so that's obviously really ties her up.
Sure.
Yeah. And and then I'm just kind of try to jump in as much as possible, take the baby off her hands whenever I can.
And how are you with when the baby's having and there's a dog again, a freak out, like when the baby's crying and upset? How are you with dealing with it, and how's the baby reacting to dad?
Yeah, pretty good. It hasn't been too bad. I mean, you can usually tell when they need to feed, and at that point there's not much I can do. I can kind of delay it a little bit, but at the same time you're not really supposed to. You're supposed to let the baby kind of feed on demand. But at the same time, sometimes you just want to let the wife rest, just want to let the mom rest for a little bit.
But do you guys have any?
Sorry.
Do you guys have anything stored, like because you guys are breastfeeding? So like, are you able to? So you're able to bottle? Are the bottle? Is that not bottle? Is it too early for bottle feed right now?
Yeah, too early for bottling. Really, they don't. I want to say they don't want you to start bottling until at least 6 months.
Oh wow! Okay, there you go. Knowledge.
They kind of strongly discourage bottling early. I mean, we have stored a little bit, but that's just because often there's more milk being made than the baby can always feed on either. So you're just kind of storing that excess stuff. But really, the baby's just kind of feeding pretty often at this point. And so I guess to answer your question, it hasn't been too difficult. It's usually what helps is just holding the baby close to you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually because the baby for 9 months has been inside the womb, been in a very constricted place,
So wants to be constricted.
So he wants to be close. He wants to feel that human contact. So skin to skin is very important. So usually that does it for the most part. Like this afternoon, I was just sitting on the couch and I was watching some TV, and I was kind of holding the baby. The baby kind of started crying, so I just held him close, and then he just like passed out like on my chest. So it was like that for probably a couple hours, or maybe even an hour. He was fine. So it hasn't been too much of a challenge. The biggest thing, would just be, in like the middle of the night when he's freaking out and, you're not really sure what's going on, and just, trying to take the baby off your wife's hands. But usually it's either, he's hungry, so he wants to feed, or he has a dirty diaper. Or he could be hot, he could be cold. So if he's swaddled, that's where you, wrap like a cloth like around him tightly. And swaddling often helps a lot as well. But sometimes, they're just too hot or too cold, or they just want to be close. So it's usually one of those things. Honestly, something that really helps is just being like, just kind of making that noise. Shushing the baby actually works really well. So those are all things. And then kind of when he's like, really hungry and I, just want to give Laura some rest, sometimes I'll just let him suck on my finger.
Oh, really?
Which sometimes, usually that works pretty well. Sometimes he's like, no, this isn't the same thing, and like starts crying again. But it usually does at least buy some time if you just want to give your wife some rest.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Yeah, so we really haven't had too many challenges yet.
Right. But no, it's good.
Yeah.
Everything is handled so far.
Yeah.
It's good.
Going pretty well. And so for your baby registry, how do you guys make decisions as far as what you're going to put on there and what you're going to leave off?
Yes, that is a very good question. I am letting Becca, my wife, run that.
Wise. You're a wise man.
She asked me opinion. What do you think of this stroller? And I think, does it look like it will suit us as a family? And if you think it looks well, then I agree. Smile and nod. Exactly. I took her to. We went to Babies R Us and we picked out a few things that we liked and looked. Oh, this is easy to fold up, or this will be good in the house, and easy stuff like that, or stuff that because I had two siblings and I've also had kids, so I have a couple nieces and nephews, so they recommended this brand or that brand. So
that's really good.
But more or less, I am just a buffer. Do you like this? And I usually will say yes.
Yeah.
But that tonight is actually the day to finish it all.
Okay.
We're going hopefully to finish that tonight.
Yeah. So I mean, that's basically, Laura pretty much ran that. I was just like, hey, you know what you want. I'm gonna kind of, I'll gladly, put in some input if asked, but otherwise, you're running the show.
Take and run with it.
Show. And it was, and then also, like you said, just having friends or family who have had babies recently, they can kind of give you some pointers. I have a few friends who are either they've just recently had babies, or their wives are pregnant. So being able to hear from people around you is huge. And then how about a baby shower? Are you guys still planning to do one of those?
If COVID allows us, yes. But like my family's in the Coburg area of Ontario. Becca's family's in the Sudbury, which is northern Ontario, which is about 5-hour gap. So we'll probably have to do 2 of them, just because of it's hard to get close aunts and uncles, or aunts, I guess, to one area. So we'll probably have to do 2. Like we did 2 gender reveals for our families. It's usually everything's times 2. But yeah, if COVID allows us, we probably will. Yeah, that's the goal at least.
Okay. Yeah,
did you guys do one? Did Laura have one?
Not really. No, we had to cancel our classic baby shower or whatever.
Yeah. COVID. Didn't agree with it.
Yeah. So we just kind of sent out. Just basically sent to people the link to the baby registry website. Sure. So they had that, and it just wasn't really possible to have one.
No.
Which was fine. And then, also with our church, we had a lot of people just kind of give us gifts. So they kind of had a baby shower for us, but, just kind of one person from our church said, hey, come over to the church, we have some gifts to give you.
Sure.
And so we basically walked into a room and it was like a table full of gifts.
That's wicked.
So they just kind of left all that stuff for us. So it wasn't the classic baby shower where there's a big room of people and, everyone celebrating and whatnot. But yeah, it was still very good. We still felt very loved by all that. So yeah, it's important. And I'm glad to hear that you guys will hopefully be able to do a little something with your families.
Yeah, it's trending that way. At least in our area, it's trending that way. But yeah, never knows.
So you guys are doing better as far as the COVID crisis in Ontario?
Well, yeah, I think like for the last week, we've only had a case like 170 cases or 178 cases or 177 cases. It's been in the low or high 100s, which is down from, rewind like 3 weeks ago, we were getting 500 daily. Yeah. So it's like, it's went from 500 to 400 to 200 to now 100. It's slowly declining on a regular rate.
Yeah, that's great news.
It's good. And our municipality, Northumberland Township, has like I think 0 active cases.
Yeah,
which is a big area. So overall, where we are in Eastern Ontario, is 0 cases.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's good. Hopefully it stays that way. I feel like the Canadian government has been more cautious than most in the States, and have done more to kind of limit that. Restrictive. So that's Finley in the background.
That is Finley in the background.
Toy.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, there he is. Having a grand old time. Yeah, we can't really do chew toys with Tucker, our dog, because he'll completely destroy the toy, and then he'll get the squeaker out, and then he'll just get the squeaker stuck in his teeth, and he'll just like constantly
just raw
on the squeaker.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
So yeah. Squeaky
I got the squeaker.
Really work with him. All right, awesome. So yeah, that's great news. You guys are doing well. Baby's doing well. One thing that I will say about having a boy, just be ready for the urine,
right?
Because it's like a sprinkler. It's
oh no,
you never really know where it's gonna go. So the other day. I wasn't there to witness this, but my wife told me that my son literally peed in his mouth.
Oh no!
Yeah. So it just went like straight up like a fountain, and he like drank it. And
oh no!
So yeah.
Oh no!
Very special child, but
I hope it didn't taste like asparagus.
No, I don't know. Laura took a picture of his face like right after it happened, and he was just like, he was like, what just happened? Oh man, So you just got to make sure when you're changing his diaper, we have these little cloth pieces that you just use to cover, that area, because you never know where it's gonna go. I think.
No.
So.
Have to have like a umbrella to fight it back.
Yeah. So it's so it's a challenge, but
that does sound like a challenge.
Sounds
like a funny challenge.
Yes. It's hilarious.
I'll wear my face shield, a mask, and some goggles.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wear your same outfit that you wear for work, the full face shield and everything.
That's right. Yeah. Or I'll just get my hockey bucket out, throw it on.
Oh yeah. Do you have like the plastic shield?
I got a half visor.
You have a half visor. Okay. Yeah.
I got a half. Throw it on.
So I guess it wouldn't really cover your mouth, but covers your eyes.
My eyes are protected. I got a cage, but the cage wouldn't help.
Really help. Yeah.
It's just gonna make it worse because it'll hit it and splatter everywhere. Then I'll forget about it. I'll throw my bucket in my hockey bag and I'll go. It'll be January. I'll go throw it on. I'm like, what is this smell?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Anyway.
That'd be funny.
The joys of fatherhood that you have to look forward to. But
that's right.
Speaking of fatherhood, happy Father's Day.
Yes, you too. Your official. Yes. Your first real official Father's Day.
That's right, and it's your first too, man. You also.
Yep.
You also have a son.
On its way, I do. I'm excited.
So it's also your first Father's Day too. So.
Tell that to my dog. She's not too happy when you said that. She said, he's my dad. He's my dad too. Yeah. Sorry, Finn. Nope. Yeah. Congratulations again. Yeah. Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you guys do anything special for Father's Day?
I got a $10 round of golf, which is usually like $30. So they asked me when they walked in, "Are you a father?" I said, "I sure am."
Yes, you are. That's not a lie.
Right? I'm not wrong. I'm a future dad. So why not take the $10 round of golf? So we played a round of 9, and it was a busy round of 9, really busy.
Like a lot of people were there?
Yeah, like every tee off you had to wait. It was no point in passing them because you pass them, there's a group in front of them. So it was like, it was log jam it was busy.
So what did you shoot in the total 18? Or do you not disclose that?
I shot 52 for 9 in 9.
52 for 9.
So
okay, yeah.
It was a rough 52.
Yeah.
My last 4 holes, I was giving as fives as bogey. I played bogey golf the last 4.
Okay. Yeah.
So bogey golf the last 4. The first 5 weren't. Let's just throw those holes out and return to next week. I thought I was my 5th round of golf this year. I was on a roll. I thought I was gonna. I know. I've actually went out quite a bit.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's my worst round of golf this year. So that says something, I guess.
Yeah.
If I would say that was my best round, we could just end this conversation now.
Yeah. Well, man, I can't talk. I haven't golfed in a while. Probably a couple of years, actually. But,
I didn't go out once last year, but I've somehow gone out 4 times already this year.
Wow.
Go figure.
Good for you.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think golfing is one of those things that, like, one of the few things that you can do, like one of the few sports that you can do with COVID.
That's right. So. And it gets Beck out exercising. Like, she can walk.
Oh, she plays too?
Yeah. She first time ever on a golf course today.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
How did she do? Did she like it?
She actually loved it. We're going to buy a 10-pack, I think. We're going to buy a mini 10-pack and just split it. But it's awesome. She's on 72 for her first time ever.
Okay.
Like within 20 strokes of me. Like that's pretty darn good for never playing it.
Yeah.
Like I took her to the range yesterday. We went to hit the range yesterday so she could practice. And then we went and played 9 holes today.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, that's a good thing if, after her first round, she wants to play again. So I would say that's right. A successful round.
That's a successful 9 holes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. And also that's, it's a great activity to do. You could be outside, get your steps in, go for a nice walk, and
Yep.
yeah,
Can't beat it. It's hot. You just got to bring a big bottle of water with you, and you're good to go.
exactly. Stay hydrated.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's a good segue into the sports world. So last week, I was having a great conversation by myself about Auston Martin before
I disconnected.
Yeah, you just kind of
Phone died.
Hung me to dry. Hung me out to dry.
Struck a nerve. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm done with this guy.
Yeah.
So do you have your charger in this time around? Or?
I do not, but I should be good to go, I think.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're talking about Auston Martin. He is the 5th overall selection in the recent MLB draft.
And still not signed.
Still not signed. Okay, so that's
doesn't mean much though.
But I mean, the big story is he was the 2nd ranked prospect on a lot of boards. He was even the 1st ranked prospect on a lot of boards. And the fact he fell to 5 is pretty crazy. And I was reading a little bit about it. I guess kind of probably the reason why he fell was because a lot of those teams in between, like the Tigers and the Blue Jays, didn't want to pay him what he,
$7 million,
what he wants.
My understanding was nothing to do with the player or his skills. I think it was the idea that the quote unquote Scott Boras representative, and he was slotted to make the slot at number 2 was $7 million. So the Orioles didn't pick him. The Brewers, who was it? Was it the Brewers? Oh no, it was Miami Marlins, the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah,
both of them didn't pick him either. Yeah, it was the Royals and it was the Marlins. They both picked Max Meyer and AC Lacy 3 and 4, and I think both of them. I think he was the known result was I need $7 million, or I need something close to what I was expected. Yeah. So, and the Jays are expected to pay him five and change. So there could be a potentially $2 million difference or $1.5 million difference, but I don't know. I think if you read like Shai Davidi and those guys, these are Blue Jays beat reporters. They state like he has no gain by going back to college. What do you move up 4 slots in the draft? Right. Maybe a couple million in your pocket, or do you not have a season, or do you injure yourself and you fall in a couple slots in the draft? I think it's almost a slam dunk this deal gets done. I can't see why not.
Yeah, I would think so as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's one thing to look out for is when that deal will happen. But if and when it happens, which position do you think he's going to play in the Blue Jays farm system?
Where do they start him? Short, I guess. Short or second to start him off, just to get him comfortable with professional at bats. But I really truly think they're going to try to use him as your utility player. Center field,
just like all over the place.
Yeah, like try to master center field and maybe short. But like if Bo Bichette needs a day off, he goes short. If Kevin Biggio needs a day off, he goes second. Or he's your everyday. Everyone's playing. I think he goes center.
Yeah.
So Vlad, let's say down the road, everything pans out like they say it's all going to pan out, or it should. You got Vlad possibly over at first. You got Kevin at second, Bo Bichette at short. Then you got a kid that's drafted out of high school 2 years ago, Jordan Groshans, who's climbing our rankings real fast and is a very athletic third baseman. Yeah. So he's kind of he's claimed that third base spot from Auston Martin, kind of, as per he can pull the senior staff, and he's pretty athletic at it. So if his bat is good enough to be in a lineup, he's going to take the third baseman spot, which means Davis Austin Davis is going to find a spot out. Hopefully, it'd be
Austin
if
Martin.
Austin Martin, yeah, Austin Martin. If he could be out center field, if we can make him an everyday center field with that 5th overall pick, we got to steal.
Yeah, I think that would be the best scenario for sure. Is having him fit in at center. And and I think he could play the position. He's got great speed. He's very athletic.
Yeah,
he's very smart. He's got great instincts. The only thing I think is his arm.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a question. But as a center fielder, you don't really need a great arm like a right fielder needs.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that obviously would be ideal if he could slot in at center. But I think wherever he does slot in, he's going to be an outstanding player from what we've been reading on him.
And what another thing I heard is when Justin Turner was drafted, when who's another guy the Dodgers have, Cody Bellinger. Like those guys didn't have a position, so to say. Like when a guy's drafted, like Derek Jeter, for example, he's a shortstop. Like there's guys that are just positioned, like that's their position and position only. But Cody Bellinger, I'm sure the Dave Martinez of the Dodgers isn't going around saying, where the heck am I going to put blank? Like they don't think twice. If Martin's bat's if he's a 300 hitter and 25 to 30 homers guy, he's going to find a spot on the rotation or on the lineup card every single day. Doesn't matter where you play him. But you're right. Yeah. I think his body, everything he says about him is third base or center fielder.
Yeah, so that would be that'd be ideal for sure.
Yeah.
Just kind of switching gears here a little bit. I was, I was just kind of thought I would just take a look to see what was going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs, just see if there's any recent news. And so on Friday, news came across the wire, an article from Steve Simmons at the Toronto Sun, the notorious Steve Simmons. But the article is Auston Matthews tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah, scary.
Yes. Nick, what are your thoughts on this news?
If true, which I'm assuming if you read the article, it is true. Yeah. Just because he said he checked with his lawyers if it can release someone else's public health information, which is another thing that's hard to get at. But the Leafs didn't release anything. They just said a player of theirs has tested positive. But yeah, if true, doesn't matter. The fact that it's your franchise is not very promising. You always hear the NHL is going to go on. The NHL is going to go on. COVID tests are not till. But once you got a superstar, does it go on? Let's say it's games. I know this is no games. He's still got time to recover. But we don't know the everlasting effects to COVID-19. Does it? Yeah. So it will be. Yeah. It's pretty scary stuff, though. He's living in a hotbed. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, I think, before I started looking into this stuff, I felt very. I would say optimistic about sports, coming up pretty soon here in July, getting basketball back, getting Major League Soccer, getting, hockey, getting training camps going.
Yeah.
But, after seeing, the statistics coming out of Arizona where something like 3,000 new cases of COVID-19 the other day, I think Friday. Florida, the cases have risen again. They're very high. We saw out of Clemson, the college football team there, something like 20 or 30 players tested positive.
Yeah. The Phillies shut down. I think actually all major leagues shut down their training camps. They're like all their training facilities in Arizona and Florida. So there's no facilities that are open for baseball related activities.
Yeah, I mean, if you think, I mean, those two states, Arizona and Florida,
That's
that's
right.
where
Baseball
the
happens.
baseball spring training facilities are. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good, for trying to figure this out, and maybe things blow over. Maybe it turns out Matthews has it, and then he gets
But
totally better. But that's the thing; we just don't know. We don't really know.
like, is he asymptomatic? He very well could just be asymptomatic, no
Yeah.
symptoms, no fever, no shakes, none of the stuff that COVID is related to.
Mhm.
But he's just a carrier, which would be the best of worst news, I guess.
Yeah.
But obviously, you don't want it. I wouldn't want to tell anyone. I wouldn't want anyone to get COVID. This is just not fun. But
No.
if I'm Gary Bettman in the NHL, I'm seriously, if the season's got to happen, I'm putting both camps up in Alberta and in British Columbia. Like,
Yeah.
because you're not gonna appease fans. Like, you're not doing it for fans. Like, they're not going to be. It's for television rights, and that's television rights only. So why not do it the safest spots you could that are NHL ready? Which they're both in the playoffs. So they're both the British Columbia, the province, which is massive. I don't know the total population, but it's massive. The land mass is massive. They only, like, all weekend, I think the last week they've had 7 cases, 9 cases. Like, daily, their daily uptick is only like 9 cases a day.
Wow.
Like, that's really good. And Alberta was only like 4. I think they said, like, we had our highest case in total. And I read yesterday, like, that's their highest uptake was only 48. So it's like they're all only double digits or single digits. Like, how do you, if I'm not the NHL, how don't you go to those 2 provinces, for example? The Canadian government's allowed it. They've approved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just now between the NHL and the hub cities, that it's up to them.
Yeah.
So, and you got to think, every team owner, every player is all paid in American dollars. You convert your American dollars to Canadian dollars. If you're trying to look finances, you're getting what, 70 to 60 cents every dollar. Like our Canadian dollar is a lot lower than the American dollar.
Yeah.
Speaking of, but yeah.
Yeah.
Props.
The toonie.
The toonie.
Yeah. So I would say, that would make the most sense, is doing Edmonton and Vancouver. Las Vegas is also seems to be a hotbed right now. I feel like the NBA had a good plan, to do their bubble and at Walt Disney World. But when they decided to do that, that was when the cases were down. Now they're up again. So how that's going to affect that. So I think, if the NHL could do something similar, where they have these bubbles where literally once you're in the bubble, you're staying in the bubble. You're not getting out. You're making sure everybody who enters the bubble is tested.
Is COVID free.
Is COVID free throughout the duration.
Yeah.
But again, it's, how wise is it going to be for the NBA to do it in a city that is spiking again? So, and is that going to mean we're going to have to wait longer? And, how does that work with the Major League Soccer tournament also happening in Orlando early July?
They're like July 7th, July 10th.
July 8th,
they're only
I think,
July 8th. That's correct. They're only like 2 weeks out. Like, we're June 21st today. Next week is the 26th, 27th. Yeah, we're 3 weeks out from that tournament happening.
Yeah, it's real soon. So just more uncertainty as far as sports and when we're gonna be able to see some of these North American leagues.
Groundhog Day on repeat. But like Bundesliga, for example, like, they're just wrapping their season up. If not, this was the last week. Was it the last week or next week?
I don't know how much longer they've got. honestly.
I know it's wrapping up, but they didn't do. I know traveling in Germany versus traveling in North America is a lot different, but they didn't do a bubble. They just said everyone play in your stadiums and we'll come to you. Like you go to Munich, you go to Byron goes to wherever. They travel wherever the games are being played. No fans, of course.
Yeah.
They did the old classic way, and they had a couple COVID cases pop up, but they self-isolated and they took care of it. Yeah. So like it's doable. Germany was able to make it happen. And
yeah, I mean that's the thing though. Like those countries, they had the benefit of being kind of very early on. They got hit hard. Yes. And in Germany didn't really get hit too bad at all. They did a really good job of containing
They did,
it.
Yeah.
So Germany, Germany's flying. And but then places like even Italy was hit really hard. Spain was hit pretty hard. But now they're kind of done with that wave.
Yeah.
So now they're able to open up their soccer leagues. Whereas in North America, it's still like we're still getting more cases. We're still, especially places in the States.
But I thought we're always like 2-3 weeks, weren't we? No, it was like 3 weeks behind or 2 weeks behind. Maybe it was 3 weeks. So like over the time, like March 1st for Italy was our February 1st, more or less. It was like we were always 3 weeks. So like June 21st is today. You should almost rewind 3 weeks ago now and see what Italy was kind of like. And I guess that's what we're supposed to be expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like, it's such a hard thing to figure out. And I mean, I don't think anybody has really figured it out.
No.
As to why. I mean, in the U.S., there wasn't like blanket, over the whole country, hey, everybody has to quarantine or has to stay at home. It was different, region by region.
Per state, yeah.
And I think that's good because it was different how it affected every state. But the problem with that is, now you're getting places that were doing great, places like Florida, places like Arizona. I've heard people in Arizona, they've just been like, yeah, we just continued life, things have been fine. But now they're getting hit. And it's like, whereas in Europe, they're a little more, I think, they were a little more restrictive, or maybe quite a bit more restrictive than the States. And I think Canada overall has done a pretty good job with it. But the problem is with the States, there's just so many different kinds of regions. Places like New York City, places like Los Angeles were obviously
they got hit
really hard. And and then you have other places that got better quickly and then started to ease restrictions and then got hit again, places like Florida. So when there's not like a uniform policy, I guess, or policies, I think that's why it's kind of lingered longer here than it has maybe in Europe. But that's just conjecture on my part. I don't think anybody really fully understands how this virus works.
No.
When it, but so it's going to be a challenge. And you think about how, like we said, Clemson, 20 to 30 players all tested positive. The Tampa Bay Lightning had to close their practice facility because of the number of players and staff who tested positive. I think they had like 7 players and staff or something like that. Then in Arizona, the Coyotes, where Auston Matthews was practicing. They also had several players, as per the Simmons article, test positive. So you're dealing with quite a few players who are testing positive, and that's, I don't think that's
scary.
That just doesn't bode well to get things started too quickly. And I think, maybe it wasn't the wisest idea to kind of have this plan where players were kind of allowed to do their own kind of practicing together without much, team supervision. It's been, there hasn't been many policies from the league. It's just been kind of like, okay, players can start practicing together again. There wasn't a whole lot of, hey, you have to stay here, you have to do this and that. It seemed like it was just like, okay, players can start practicing together, but there wasn't like rules set in place to make sure people were doing things they're supposed to be doing. So I think that might be part of the reason why we've seen these cases come up.
It seemed like this past week it re-hit this North American Sports League hard. Baseball, hockey, and basketball. Now, Major League Soccer, I didn't hear any positive tests, but those three sports, for example, and even actually National Football League, Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans, they had a handful. It just seemed like this week was a weird week for all of a sudden, like you snap. It seems like we're getting closer. Training camps are going to open up July 10th or something like that. Like it seems like the Raptors just set their camp down in Central Florida. They're not gonna do their training camp up in Toronto. They're gonna do it down in Central Florida. It just seems like everything was getting finalized. Things were getting pushing over the cross line, and then bam, North American sports just got hit with player after player after player with positive tests. It just seems like we're spinning our wheels here.
That's right, and it's a very scary thing to think about. You have, just even as a Leafs fan, thinking about Auston Matthews, the franchise player testing positive. It's like we don't know how this is going to affect him, long term. We haven't really seen, like you said, we've had other pretty notable athletes like Zeke Elliott and Von Miller tested positive.
Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell.
Right. So it's like, that's a concern, and it's going to be about, the real question is, these players want to play and these leagues want to play because they want to, they don't want to lose any more money. They want to, but at the same time, it's like, how much are you willing to risk? To make it happen. And I know we as fans really want to see some
but then
of that.
You still have 2-3 players. There's at least I know 2 prominent players. Kako, second overall pick last year's NHL draft by the Rangers, and Max Domi, both come out and say like this past week they're gonna play. Like they're both type 1 diabetics, and like they're high risk. They've been, and there's another player coming out. I should have written his name down, but there's 3 type 1 diabetic players going to be playing in this NHL play-in series.
Yeah.
And they're not even teams that were actually in the playoffs to start with. Like Montreal was the 24th ranked team coming in. Like they're the 12th seed in the Eastern Conference. And they had like less than a 1% chance of playing. Domi plays for them. And then Kako, the Rangers were on a roll. But once again, if everything stayed status quo, they weren't going to make the playoffs either. So, and now they're going to play in this play-in, which is awesome team spirit. But you guys are type 1 diabetes. It's something you should look at health-wise and not, I got to play for my team. It's scary stuff.
Yeah, it is. And I know some people say, they're young, they're all fit athletes. They'll be fine if they get it. But it's like, you just don't know. Like, you don't know how different people are going to react to it. And I mean, there's been younger people who have died from it.
Sure, there has.
It's, it's a scary situation. But so we'll be monitoring that for sure, seeing how these leagues maybe change their plans, maybe if they decide to slow down a little bit.
And there was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. There was also a Tampa Bay Buccaneer that tested positive. Yeah. Well, two Bucks. So maybe once again, Florida related.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Tom Brady tested positive, people would know. Like,
I think so. Unfortunately, it'd
within
get out.
Seconds. Yeah, it would come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy crazy days we're living in. And let's shift gears to a little bit happier news. Like we said earlier, the European soccer leagues are
up and
they
running.
restarted last week. Many of them did. Spain, Italy, and England. The Premier League opened back up last week. Nick, have you been able to watch any of the English Premier League games happening?
I have not. I am sad to say, especially for being a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
I have not seen any games yet. Have you?
Yeah. Well, I did watch a little bit. Liverpool and Everton were on this afternoon. Wasn't
Yeah.
It was a 0-0 draw, so it wasn't a barn burner by any means. But it was nice being able to watch a little bit of Premier League
live sports. Yeah.
soccer. I watched the Coppa Italia last week. Juventus against Napoli, which Napoli shocked Juventus in penalty kicks, beating them. Yeah, so that was an upset. And then our boys Chelsea came away with the win against Aston Villa. I scored 2-1, kept about 75% possession of the ball. Chelsea did.
Yeah.
But still squeaked away with a 2-1 win.
They have a good squad. They do have a good squad this year.
They do. They have a very, very young team.
They do.
But they've been doing well with. Still, they're having issues putting the ball in the net, the scoring. Yep. That's been an issue. And then once again, it was an issue. This week again, having a lot of chances
and
not being able to finish.
Yeah.
So they were able to pull out that victory. But yeah, we'll see how they do. Thursday, they're playing Man City. So you got the number 4 team against the number 2 team. So that'll be a big test for the young guns from South London.
Man City. I hated Man City.
They're not a very likable team if you're not a fan of them. Pep Guardiola, that coach who just wins.
They ran away with
goes.
Well, they ran away with it last year. Like they were gone. They were gone. Man City was like everyone blinked and the table was over.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea definitely has more to play for. Chelsea's still holding on to that 4 spot.
That's right. Still Champions League berth. Yeah,
they're still in that Champions League. Manchester United drew at Tottenham on Friday, 1-1. So Chelsea extended their lead over them by, I believe, 5 points. So they have some breathing room there.
Yeah.
Chelsea's playing for that Champions League spot. Man City, I mean, there's no way they're going to catch Liverpool.
No.
No. So maybe that extra, bit of motivation might give Chelsea, a bit of a push against Man City. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things finish up with the league there. It's definitely great to just be able to watch some live sports, some sports that actually mean something.
Yeah.
So we'll be following that. I also watched a little bit of The Last Dance docuseries this afternoon.
Yeah. The Jordan doc.
Yeah, the docuseries on Michael Jordan. I was waiting to see when it would come out on ABC or ESPN Plus. It's only aired on ESPN here. But I was just kind of surfing channels this afternoon, and it was on. So I watched episode 9. So kind of jumped in right near the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great series, though. I mean, I just watched one episode, but yeah,
it was a fantastic series.
Phenomenal.
I watched it from start to finish. I was watching it when it was going live. Luckily, I had it. I kept here in Canada. They were posting it on Netflix the next day, It was two episodes a week, just how it was down on ESPN. But they would post the next 2 days on Netflix, and it's a great series. It's a must watch. That is for sure.
Yeah, just hearing, Michael Jordan talk about some of his beefs with some of his opponents. I think there was the one player on the Jazz that he used to play against, Brian. Do you remember
Maxwell.
Brian? I can't remember his last name, but it was this guy who would always guard Jordan and always talk trash against Jordan.
Was it Russ? No.
Brian Russell. No, that's his name.
Yes. So Brian Russell. The story about that is, I think maybe you heard it. Maybe it was the same episode. Or it was a different episode. It might have been that one where Jordan retired in '93.
Yeah.
And the guy came out, and Russell was a rookie then, and told Jordan, "Oh, too bad you're not here. I could have shut you down," or something like that.
Yeah.
Like I would always want to shut you down, or I don't know. And Carl, he looked at Carl Malone, the mailman, and was like, "Watch your rookie," or something like that. And then fast forward, 5 years later, 6 years later, they're guarding each other again. Like this time, he's now come out of retirement. Spoiler alert! But he baseball was not as successful for him. But whatever. Not the point. But it's just that he got his chance, and obviously Jordan clearly had that famous shot over him.
Yeah.
The stop. The guy kept going, and he fades away, or up he goes. Up Jordan goes.
Yeah, just that little stumble and the shot by Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I just thought it was hilarious how the guy says one thing to Jordan, basically trash talks him once, and Jordan's like, okay, from then on he was on the list.
Yeah,
he was. I just wanted to destroy that guy every time I played against
savage.
him.
He is savage.
Yeah, the dude was on a total other plane. And one other story I thought was really interesting about that episode was they went into the story of Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
The current head coach for the Golden State Warriors, and he was a player on the Bulls, and kind of just went into his backstory a little bit, and a very tragic story with his father, who was the president of a university in Lebanon, and was shot there.
Yeah.
And killed. And that was when Steve Kerr was, I think, in his first year of college at Arizona.
Yeah.
And then
able to go to.
What's that?
I don't think he didn't attend any of the funeral or anything. Like he stayed in Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I know, like they talked to his mom a little bit in the docuseries, and he said he just kind of dealt with the grief by just pouring himself into basketball.
Yeah.
He didn't really know what else to do. And he obviously became made it to the NBA, which, here's this little white guy who just got really good at shooting threes, and became a great shooter, and eventually kind of made his niche that way in the NBA, and eventually made it on the Bulls. And then he had that huge shot. I think it was against the Jazz as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, possibly.
Or maybe
it was. I know it was he replaced. Who did he replace? Frig.
Paxson.
I just know. Yes, he was and Paxson had the exact same shot in another series. So it's just ironic that he replaced Paxson, and he did the same thing what Paxson did, John Paxson.
Yeah, that's right. And then so it's just interesting because Michael
fought him.
Yeah, it was. Well, I actually didn't see that part.
Oh,
I didn't see that part, but it seemed like, Jordan, it was, one of the things about him is you had to really earn his respect as a teammate before he would trust you. So kind of went through that a little bit, and
I think there was one.
Yeah.
There was one thing Jordan, I think, came once again, 93, retired, played some baseball, came out of baseball, was practicing with the Bulls. This is now Steve Kerr's rookie year, I want to say, or Steve Kerr's rookie on the team. He's new to the team. And Jordan's never really played with them or hasn't played with them. And I think Phil Jackson, Coach Phil, was running practice and whatever. And I guess Kerr was on him and on him like a rat or whatever, like just tight defense in practice. And I guess Jordan like got peeved off and said like, who do you think you are? And like punched him. I guess like punched him like in the face or in the chest. And like Jordan, let's say is, I don't know, Jordan's what, 6'8", like 6'9",
6'6",
6'6". Okay, and Kerr's a lot smaller than him.
Yeah.
So it was like, I guess Jordan fought Kerr in practice or got face to face and threw a couple blows, but then Jordan got kicked out of practice, and this was but then like had to call Kerr and apologize. And I think like then they kind of learned about their father's situation because both their fathers were both unfortunately murdered.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you're right. To be on Jordan's good side, someone had to earn his respect. And I think that's something how I think those two burn the bridges and can relate to each other. But yeah, it is a very interesting series.
It is, yeah. So I only saw episode 9, so I definitely want to watch the rest of it at some point. So if you guys haven't seen it, something to watch during these times with not much live sports. And if you're in Canada, it's on Netflix.
Yep.
If you're in the States, it's on ESPN. So yeah, I'm not sure if you don't have ESPN. I'm not sure when. I guess it was airing on ABC this afternoon anyway. I'm not sure if they're going to do that again or whatnot. But
right.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that because it's an outstanding series. All right, Nick. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No, everyone stay health and safety. Health and safety. Wow. Stay safe and healthy.
There you go. Stay healthy.
That's right.
Stay safe.
Stay healthy,
and
kids.
Healthy. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. No. Definitely. Seriously, because especially you guys who have those of you who are pregnant and those of you who have pregnant wives, you want to make sure you're staying healthy and your little one is healthy as well. So just be extra careful. We don't really know how COVID affects babies. There seems to be evidence that it doesn't really affect kids very much at all.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't really know too much about babies, and babies have very low immune systems. So you just want to be extra careful. We're being careful here with our little one, and I know Nick is with his. So stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we'll get to be watching some sports. Make sure you check out if you're not into soccer, you should probably get into soccer because that's kind of the only thing.
That and golf. PGA, I guess. Yeah. But cool.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick. It's been great. This has been First Time Dads, Diehard fans. Feel free to like this video, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's any topics you'd like to cover, any questions you have about fatherhood or about anything going on in the world of sports. And or if you have any wisdom to share with us, feel free to let us know. We're both newbies at this, so if you're a little more seasoned,
you hear anything that we said wrong, just let us know.
Just like my mom, she's not afraid to call me out when I say stupid things on the podcast, so you shouldn't either. All right, so have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you guys later.
Perfect. See you later.